Government contracts, political power, and public accountability are all involved. So let's take a closer look and see how Chris Cuomo pushes back against Michael Knowles and challenges his argument on News Nation's Cuomo.
In a 2009 deposition, Musk said he called the department chair 2 days into the semester, quit, then started Zip2, a company he later sold for $300 million. Every dollar, every ounce of power he has today goes back to that moment. So if MAGA just wants the law enforced, why does he get a pass? He's also the poster boy for the worst kind of privilege. If you're someone who believes that anyone here illegally is up to no good, then he's your poster boy. The Wisconsin Elections Commission, 3 Democrats, 3 Republicans, found probable cause Musk violated election bribery law by offering $1 million to voters in that Wisconsin Supreme Court race. How did the Trump administration respond? By giving him multi-million-dollar contracts. How did he respond to those contracts? By pledging to give over $100 million to Republicans the next day. But it doesn't end there. Don't forget DOGE. Gutted important programs, fell way orders of magnitude short of what he promised to cut. And now there are suspicions that it was all a smokescreen for his real ambition, handing Palantir access to some of America's most sensitive personal data. IRS, Social Security, DHS, HHS. What did they do with it? We don't know. That kind of power concentrated in the hands of the few should concern everyone. So if Congress wants to investigate somebody who seems to be doing as much as they can to compromise American lives, they got a much better target than someone who helped us through a pandemic. They should go after the guy who questions whether there ever was one. Now, that's my case. What is the counter? Joining me now, one of Musk's biggest supporters, Daily Wire host Michael Knowles. Make your witness.
Chris, I loved that magnificent monologue. The problem is it was all a bunch of nonsense. So to your first point that Elon Musk is an illegal alien, it's a funny joke that they made at a conference. But one, if Elon Musk were an illegal alien, Democrats would love him, and they manifestly do not.
In a democracy, it should make no difference whether a person is a billionaire, CEO, or just an average citizen. Everyone should be judged by the same rules and held to the same basic standards. When powerful business leaders become heavily involved in politics while also having major ties to the government, people have every right to raise difficult questions about openness and possible conflicts of interest. Government contracts are one area that deserves particular attention. Over the years, Musk's companies have secured billions of dollars in federal contracts, especially through NASA, the Department of Defense, and several other government agencies. Those deals have clearly played a role in developing technologies such as reusable rockets and satellite communication systems. At the same time, they can create a complicated connection between private business goals and government decisions. That is precisely where proper oversight becomes important. The goal isn't to punish someone simply because they have achieved financial success. The goal is to make sure taxpayer money is used properly and that government contracts aren't influenced by favoritism. Another concern involves the growing control of data and technology by major companies. Businesses working with artificial intelligence, cloud services, and government software are increasingly responsible for handling extremely sensitive information. Whether it's Palantir, Microsoft, Amazon Web Services, or another government contractor, Americans should expect strong protections over how their personal information is collected, accessed, and kept safe. As artificial intelligence grows more advanced, questions surrounding privacy, cybersecurity, and government supervision are becoming far more important than they were 10 years ago. Political influence through wealth is another issue that deserves consideration. The Supreme Court's Citizens United ruling significantly expanded the role of independent political spending, making it possible for wealthy individuals and organizations to direct enormous amounts of money toward elections. This isn't something that can be blamed on Elon Musk alone. It's a larger systemic issue that can impact both major political parties. When a small number of billionaires have the ability to spend tens or even hundreds of millions of dollars influencing political campaigns, it's understandable that many Americans begin to question whether ordinary voters still have the same level of influence.
Second of all, he came here legally in 1995 to be a student. He dropped out eventually out of Stanford, and
Not eventually.
he was able to. No, he did work at it. He did drop out eventually. He took classes at Stanford, then he dropped out.
No, he dropped out
and then
immediately,
he was able to work.
and the visa was contingent on attending. Go ahead.
But Chris, here's the key. Elon was able to work as students are able to work when they are students here. Now, it's true, there is this kind of gray area, but they worked it all out within 18 months. So he had a worker visa within 18 months. If he had committed anything even resembling immigration fraud, he would not have become a U.S. citizen in 2002. When it comes to his government contracting career, don't forget he's been a government contractor since 2003. He's received $38 billion over the course of his 23-year contracting career. He's received it from Bush, from Obama, billions and billions of dollars under Obama, some under Trump as well. You ask what he got out of Doge, which was generally quite successful. It was roughly as successful as Al Gore's very similar program, roughly as successful as the Grace Commission under President Reagan, which was also run by a guy in the private sector. But regardless, what did he get out of those HHS files? I'll give you an answer. He found out that there was $14 billion annually in Medicaid fraud. This was covered by Daily Wire's own Luke Rosiak. You can go read about it on the DW
They
website.
have found,
so he did a lot of good.
found Medicaid fraud every time they've looked. Anyone who looks finds it. You guys are not special. What is special is what he did with Palantir and opening up those databases. What is special is that it's the first time an amount of savings was predicted and promised, and you came nowhere close to it. The impact of those cuts, we'll see. But this guy just rigged the elections. He worked the immigration system. That's why he got through it, because he fraudulently got his way through.
Chris, how did he rig the election?
You don't hear what the
I thought we're not election deniers.
Wisconsin election. So the Wisconsin election board, you don't believe them?
Yeah, I haven't seen any federal cases against Elon Musk for election rigging.
Oh, so if it's not a federal case, it didn't happen?
Below Mike Bloomberg's, below Tom Steyer's, both Democrat donors. So Elon Musk has donated a lot to elections. That's great. But don't forget this idea that Elon Musk has made money on politics. Elon Musk got decimated in his businesses because he got involved with Doge in the campaign. The National Bureau of Economic Research says that Tesla sales were down by 83% because he got involved. That was tens of billions of dollars. We know that his contribution to preserve free speech, he lost 75% on that.
It's also a crappy car.
He's lost a lot of money in politics.
It's also a crappy car. I had one. Okay, I think that's part of what's hurting Tesla also.
I can't help but notice a lot of people loved buying those cars until he got into politics.
This guy got through an immigration system that if he weren't a rich white guy from South Africa, he may be getting dragged out of his car at a traffic stop and getting his ass beat with people like you applauding.
Chris, you're saying he's an African American, so I think it contradicts your, police stop narrative here. And regardless, he got through under Bill Clinton.
Equal treatment under the law is one of the foundations of the American justice system, and when people see the law being applied differently to different individuals, it can deepen distrust in public institutions. There is also a larger question surrounding the connection between government agencies and extremely powerful private businesses. Elon Musk's companies have made important advances in technology, but those businesses have also received billions through federal contracts and government-backed support over the years. That by itself is not unusual, since defense and aerospace firms have worked with the government for decades, but it still gives citizens a valid reason to question how those relationships are monitored, how transparent they are, and whether any conflicts of interest could exist. That is one of the main reasons congressional oversight matters. Another factor is the way political activity can change how the public sees a business leader. CEOs have every right to be politically active, but openly taking a strong partisan position can sometimes create problems for the companies connected to them. We have seen cases before where an executive's political activism affected the choices customers made. These days, brand loyalty is not always about the product itself. Many consumers also think about whether a company's leadership represents values or political beliefs they agree with before deciding where to spend their money. The debate over political donations is much broader than Musk as well. After the Citizens United decision, extremely wealthy donors from both Democrats and Republicans have spent huge sums trying to influence elections. Whether that money comes from Elon Musk, Michael Bloomberg, George Soros, or another billionaire, the larger concern is the power that enormous personal wealth can have over political decisions.